Welcome back. Well, the government may not have gained ground in the latest news poll, but a new survey out this morning provides it with crucial ammunition on a key policy weakness for Labor, abolishing negative gearing and tax breaks on property. Treasurer Josh Frydenberg joins me now from Sydney. Treasurer, good morning to you.
Good morning, Deb.
The housing market in Australia, we know, is in a slump and prices are tipped to fall even further. What has this poll by the Property Council found?
Well, this poll represents a chilling warning about the detrimental impact that Labor's hike to capital gains tax and their plans to abolish negative gearing, as we know it will have. It will ultimately increase rents for millions of Australians and decrease construction in the housing sector, costing jobs and lowering economic growth. You see, the Labor Party's policy is to drive the value of your home down and to increase your rent. And this is coming at exactly the worst time for the housing market when we've already seen a correction in the major markets of Melbourne and Sydney and other parts of the country.
I'm surprised that there hasn't been a survey done on voting patterns on this before, frankly, but only 1,000 people were surveyed and it didn't include owner-occupiers who would benefit most, of course, from Labor's plan. Do you think it's really an accurate picture of the way most Australians are feeling?
Well, actually, owner-occupiers will lose out because the value of their home will be worth less. Therefore, the money that they borrow from the bank to support their small business will be less. And this means that the number one asset, the family home, will actually be worth less. This was a critical survey by the Property Council of investors, both existing investors in the property market and also potential investors. And a 1% increase, Deb, in rents will mean a $250 hit to the average renter, and there are more than 2 million renters in Australia who are aged between 20 and 34, so Labor's policy will actually hit the younger people in our community even harder.
Well, property is a big issue, we know, for Australians, but so too are wages, which are flat at the moment, and the International Monetary Fund says that wages will barely grow over the next 6 years. How will you counter this?
Well, actually, we saw a jump of 2.3% in the most recent wages price index.
It's still quite flat,
represents the big. Well, it represents the biggest jump in 3 years, and it is above inflation. But what we have seen across the economy, Deb, is really strong jobs growth. Over 1.2 million new jobs. The most recent job numbers show that more than 60,000 full-time jobs were created, and female workforce participation is now at a record high. So it's good news for women coming into the workforce, good news for people finding jobs. And if you've got a job, then you can invest in your first home. If you've got a job, then you have the security to provide for your family.
Now, the Prime Minister unveiled his climate solutions package yesterday, and you'd expect the Greens and Labor not to be happy, but are you disappointed that some in business are critical as well? We know the Australian Industry Group is saying that it's not a comprehensive or permanent solution to curbing dangerous carbon pollution. Will it go even further, do you think?
Well, actually, I saw the Australian Industry Group say that this was a step in the right direction.
But they want more,
I want to point out, well, today the Prime Minister has announced more, Deb, with a $1.4 billion commitment to Snowy Hydro 2.0, which will help stabilise the energy system across the eastern seaboard of Australia. You see, we've got emissions now down to its lowest level on a per capita and GDP basis in 28 years. There's never been a greater investment in renewables in Australia's history than under a coalition government. We've seen record investment in renewables, and Prime Minister's announcement yesterday about energy efficiency programs, supporting the rollout of electric vehicles, the emissions reduction fund, and obviously Snowy 2.0 is a comprehensive suite of policies. We've got to get the balance right. We've got to create jobs, not hurt the economy, keep energy prices down, at the same time meet our international commitments, which we will do under the Paris Agreement.
Well, we know climate is such a big issue, particularly in your home state of Victoria. Now, no pressure here, Treasurer, but we've got the budget looming in April. It's going to be a last roll of the dice before the election. How are you going? How are the late nights getting it all ready?
Well, there are early mornings like this one and late nights as well, Deb. But obviously the budget will represent the economic plan for the government, for the country. And we're all about lowering taxes, creating jobs, expanding the economy. Well, what we'll see is a good economic plan for the future.
Okay.
And rest assured that the jobs growth, the record jobs growth that we're seeing, rest assured the lower taxes we're already delivering for small businesses and families, all of that is helping to keep the economy going in the right direction.
I wonder if that's a yes. I gave it a red hot go anyway. We'll wait until April. Good on you, Treasurer. Thanks so much for your time this morning.
Good morning and nice to be with you.
Georgie.
Excellent.